That winter in Dawson, Buck had already performed another impressive feat and had become one of the most famous dogs in the Alaskan world. In the Eldorado Saloon, the men talked proudly about their dogs and the amazing things they could do. Buck was respected because he had a record of strength and endurance, but no one had yet seen him face a load as enormous as the one being discussed that evening. The conversation became a contest of boasts. One man said his dog could start a sled with 500 pounds, another claimed 600, and a third claimed 700. Then John Thornton spoke calmly and said, "Buck can start 1,000 pounds. Mathewson, a wealthy bonanza king, immediately challenged him and asked whether Buck could break the sled out and pull it for 100 yards. Thornton accepted the challenge, saying that Buck could do it. Mathewson declared that he had $1,000 to prove Thornton wrong. Thornton felt a sudden rush of doubt because he had never faced such a serious possibility before. He did not have the money for the wager, but O'Brien lent him $1,000, and Hunt and Pete risked their own small savings to support him. Soon, the crowd began gathering around the sled. Mathewson's sled was loaded with 20 50-pound sacks of flour, a total of 1,000 pounds. It had been standing outside in extreme cold, and the runners were frozen into the hard-packed snow. The crowd debated what breakout meant, but the challenge was clear. Buck had to free the sled and pull the full load for 100 yards. At first, no one wanted to take the bet, and many people believed the task was impossible. When Thornton saw the sled and the regular team of dogs gathered around it, the task looked even more difficult. Mathewson increased the odds to 3 against 1, and the crowd began offering baits. Buck stood before the sled in perfect condition, powerful and alert. Thornton knelt beside him, held his head between his hands, and whispered, "As you love me, Buck, as you love me." Buck understood that Thornton was asking him for everything he had. Buck tightened the traces and then loosened them slightly, just as he had learned to do. Thornton ordered him to move to the right, and Buck swung hard, pulling the sled sideways. Then Thornton commanded him to move to the left, and Buck repeated the movement. The cracking of the frozen snow became a sharp snapping sound. The sled pivoted, the runners slipped, and the crowd realized that Buck had broken them free. Thornton shouted the final command, "Now, MUSH." Buck threw himself forward and tightened the traces with a powerful lunge. His chest was low to the ground, his head stretched forward, and his paws scratched the snow beside the runners. The sled began to move. One of Buck's feet slipped, and a man cried out, but Buck recovered and continued. Inch by inch, then more steadily, he pulled the load toward the firewood that marked the end of the 100 yards. As Buck passed the finish point, the crowd finally breathed again. Then everyone cheered. Men shouted, waved their hats, shook hands, and celebrated the victory. Even Mathewson was amazed, while Thornton ran beside Buck and encouraged him. When the sled had completed the full distance, Thornton fell to his knees beside Buck, overcome with emotion. The impossible claim had become a proven fact. A wealthy man who had watched the test offered more and more money for Buck, eventually promising $1,000 and saying that he would pay $2,000. Thornton refused him, his eyes filled with tears, and he told the men that Buck was not for sale. Buck then seized Thornton's hand gently in his teeth, and the two friends stood together while the crowd respectfully moved back. Their victory was built on love, loyalty, and trust.